Hi, welcome to our Pharma Topics channel. Let us see about apoptosis, necrosis, the mechanisms involved, and autophagy in this video. Let us take a normal cell. When it goes for apoptosis, the cell actually shrinks, and that is engulfed by the macrophages. That leads to it is called apoptosis. In case of necrosis, the cell actually enlarges, it swells, and many projection points will be there, that is called blebs, and inflammatory reactions will be there, and there will be rupture of the swelled cell. And this is the characteristic feature of necrosis. Let us see the key things which play an important role in apoptosis. They are caspases. So caspase 1 is very important for cytokine maturation. The apoptotic caspases are 2, 8, 9, 10, which are initiator caspases. Caspases 3, 6, 7 are effective caspases, effector caspases. Inflammatory caspases are caspases 4 and 5. And the caspases which are essential for skin development are caspase 14. Apart from this, some proteins are important. The BCL2, it's a anti-apoptotic in nature. That is BCL2. BCL2 and BCLXL are anti-apoptotic in nature. The apoptotic proteins are BAC and BID. Let us see the mechanism of apoptosis. For the first mechanism is formation of apoptosome, which is a mitochondrial pathway, that is intrinsic pathway. So let us take a DNA damage. P53 gets activated. That leads to formation of BACs, which is apoptotic protein. The BACs may get inserted to the mitochondria. When it gets inserted, cytochrome C is released by the mitochondria into the cytoplasm. That activates apoptosis protease activating factor 1. And the binding of cytochrome C and ATP and apaf1 forms apoptosome. This apoptosome activates Procaspase 8 to Procaspase 9 to Procaspase 9, which again activates Procaspase 3 to Caspase 3 and Procaspase 7 to Caspase 7. So all these caspases, they induce apoptosis. The next mechanism is death receptor initiation, that is a extrinsic pathway. Let us take the receptor. It is a trimer, fast trimer. Activating molecule is TNF. So the adapter molecules which attach to this receptor is FAS associated death domain and TNF receptor associated death domain adapter molecules. So these adapter molecules, they attach to the trimer, and when they attach, they activate Procaspase 8 to Caspase 8. So there is a death effector domain. So that can bind the Caspase 8. So when the fast trimer, FAD and Caspase 8, they all attach together, this complex is called death-inducing silencing complex. So they lead to apoptosis. This is the extrinsic pathway. The next is FasL binding to FAS receptor and initiate apoptosis. So let us take this trimer. Here the ligand is FasL CD178. The adapter molecule is FAS associated death domain. So FADD attaches to the trimer of the receptor that activates Procaspase 8 to Caspase 8 through the death effector domain. And the fast trimer, FAD and Caspase 8 forms the death-inducing silencing complex that initiates apoptosis. Let us see about the role of BCL2 in apoptosis. The fast trimer, FAD, Caspase 8 complex, which is called death-inducing silencing complex, activates BID to a protein to activated T-BID. The T-BID activates the formation of BACs and BAC, which are apoptotic proteins. When these BACs and BAC get inserted into the cytoplasmic, that is a mitochondrial membrane, that causes release of the cytochrome C, and that activates apaf1. That leads to activation of Procaspase 9, Procaspase 3 and Procaspase 7. So Caspase 9, Caspase 3 and Caspase 7. All these things, they induce apoptosis. Whether the apoptosis, how it is related to the diseases. It's involved in cancer. The defective apoptosis can lead to cancerous cells. Altered expression of apoptosis in the regulatory proteins can lead to the cancer. Overexpression of anti-apoptotic proteins BCL2 can lead to cancer. In autoimmune diseases also it is implicated, such as rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus erythematosus, type 1 diabetes mellitus. All these things they result due to defective apoptosis. Enhanced apoptosis causes a destruction of CD4 T cells in case of HIV. In neurodegenerative diseases also apoptosis is implicated. HIV associated dementia, Alzheimer's disease and schizophrenia. Apoptosis is involved. Can we assess the laboratory diagnosis of apoptosis? Yes, it is through DNA laddering, tunnel assay, that is terminal uridine deoxynucleotide transferase, nick and labeling assay, annexin 5 affinity assay. Usually the cell membrane contains phosphatidylserine, a protein at the inner surface of the cell membrane. In case of apoptosis, it flip-flops to the outside of the cell. Then that is recognized by annexin 5. When it is labeled with an antibody, we can detect the apoptosis through this assay. Next is flowcytometry. It is used to measure the cell size and granularity. When the cell size decreases and granularity increases, it determines the apoptosis in the cells. Let us see about necrosis. It is the spectrum of morphological changes that occur in irreversibly injured cells, and it is most common form of cell death due to external stimuli such as hypoxia, ischemia, infections or chemical agents. The different patterns of necrosis are coagulative, liquefactive, gangrenous, caseous, fibrinoid or fatty necrosis. The coagulative necrosis, it is related to blood circulation, usually happens in hypoxic injury, example myocardial infarction. Liquefactive necrosis, it occurs in case of infections, that is hypoxic injury due to infections in the CNS forms a liquefactive necrosis. Gangrenous necrosis is a combination of coagulative and liquefactive necrosis. It is of two types, dry gangrene and wet gangrene. In dry gangrene, ischemia is predominant. In wet gangrene, infections are predominant. Diabetic patients and cigarette smokers are more prone to gangrenous necrosis. In caseous necrosis, a caseous material is formed, example in case of mycobacterial infections. Next is fibrinoid necrosis, the necrosis of blood vessels. Fatty necrosis occurs in acute pancreatitis. In the features of necrosis are pyknosis, that is shrinkage of nucleus, karyolysis, that is degradation of DNA, and karyohexis, that is a pyknotic nucleus undergoes fragmentation. Let us see the differences between apoptosis and necrosis. Apoptosis is a programmed cell death, whereas it is unprogrammed in case of necrosis. Apoptosis can be physiological or pathological. Necrosis is purely pathological. Apoptosis is generally no inflammatory reactions are present, but inflammatory reactions are present in necrosis. Cell shrinkage is the characteristic feature of apoptosis. Cell swelling is the characteristic feature of necrosis. Apoptosis is an energy dependent process. Necrosis is an energy independent process. DNA is cut at specific points. In apoptosis, DNA is randomly cut. In case of necrosis, apoptosis is characterized by pyknosis and karyohexis, whereas necrosis is characterized by karyolysis. Plasma membrane remains intact throughout the apoptosis. Plasma membrane is ruptured in the necrosis. Lysosomes and other organelles are intact in apoptosis. Lysosomes break, causing liberation of enzymes in the necrosis. Apoptosis is triggered by BCL2, TNFR1, FAS and FasL, whereas necrosis is occurs by ATM depletion, membrane damage and free radical generation in case of necrosis. Let us see about autophagy. It's a digestion of body's own components through lysosomes or ubiquitin proteasome system. Autophagy is implicated in both physiology and pathophysiology. Types of autophagy are macroautophagy, microautophagy, chaperone mediated autophagy. Proteins associated with autophagy are ATG proteins. The genes associated with autophagy are Beclin-1 and BCL2, which is an anti-apoptotic protein. Autophagy is controlled by microtubules, lysosomal membrane protein acidifications, and vacuolar ATPases. That is the ATPases. All these things they inhibit the autophagy. So let us see about macroautophagy. Let us take the material that has to be autophagized. It forms a isolation membrane. The membrane grows, forms an autophagosome around the material for autophagy. The autophagosome fuses with the lysosomes, and that leads to the digestion of the ingested material with the digestive enzymes. So the autolysosome is formed and digests the materials such as damaged proteins or cell organelles. Microautophagy, it's a smaller version of macroautophagy. Here the material for autophagy is taken by the lysosomes with the digestive enzymes. Autolysosomes digest the defective organelles or the proteins. Final digestive products of the autophagy include lipids, amino acids and nucleotides, which are released by permeases into the cytoplasm. Chaperone mediated autophagy. So in this, the protein to be digested has a special motif. That motif is recognized by Heatshockprotein called 70 called chaperone that attaches to the motif of the target protein. The chaperone presents this protein to lysosome receptors, that is lysosome associated membrane protein receptors, LAMP2A, and the chaperone mediated autophagy occurs through the lysosomes. Let us see the pathophysiological and physiological roles of autophagy. It is involved in development and differentiation. Autophagy is involved in elimination of damaged organelles. Autophagy has a role in prevention of development of neurodegenerative diseases. Autophagy is involved in elimination of intracellular pathogens. Autophagy is also involved in immunity. It is also related to obesity and insulin resistance. And autophagy is also implicated in cancerous pathophysiology. So it's a short nutshell information of apoptosis, necrosis, the mechanisms involved, the types involved, and autophagy. So I hope it will be useful for you. Thank you for listening. Happy learning. Kindly subscribe to our Pharma Topics channel. Kindly share this video to more of your friends. Kindly you press the like button if you like this video. Thank you.